So the dating game, it's no secret. I wouldn't even call it a game. I would just call it a cesspool of degeneracy. That's what it is nowadays for the most part. But that doesn't mean that you have to partake in it, right? It doesn't mean that you have to let all these problems that are found in it get you down. Stop consuming so much content on the internet and get out there and live your life. People will have you believing that the dating game is dead, that the West has fallen, right? That there's no more good people out there and you should just live alone and die alone. Don't be one of those people who are completely brainwashed by this message. A lot of people who fall into that line of thinking are completely devoid of life. They've let it in, the circumstances that they went through. They let, a breakup or a bad experience get them down. And for one side of the coin, I can't really blame them, but on the other one, completely giving up and just kind of waiting, just living your life alone is, in my opinion, no way to live. Do you really want to be 60, 70 years old and not really have anybody beside you, right? You don't want to have a partner. I mean, of course, life is crazy and anything can happen, but in the ideal scenario is you have somebody at your side at old age, right? You have children, you have a family that can help you out when you're older. So, there's, it's a beautiful thing to have a family. Not that I personally have a family, but, it's something that I personally strive for. So, everybody to each their own. But again, from my point of view, I just kind of find it silly for people who completely just give up on trying to find somebody, right? And again, I can't really blame people because it really is bad out there, guys, but it's not impossible. So, honestly, the first thing you got to do, in my opinion, when you're trying to get into the dating game is, first of all, to have your priorities in order. What is dating? In its purest form, it's people trying to find a partner, right? Now, people try to find a partner for different reasons, right? Most relationships are out there, I would say, I think it's a fair statement to say, are pretty superficial. People are just looking to take from the other person in whatever shape or form that may present itself, right? So that's how most relationships are. And if you get into a relationship for the wrong reasons, it's gonna end badly, right? And I can tell you this from personal experience too. So I don't know why people complain when, they go into a relationship and they don't really have a clear idea as to what they want, or they go into a relationship for all the wrong reasons. So the first thing I would recommend if you are, looking to date or looking to find someone is to really have a clear idea as to why you're doing it in the first place. Are you doing it for hedonistic purposes, for lustful purposes, for the right reasons, right? You got to have a clear idea of what you want. Second of all, you got to be a developed person. You have a lot of people out here complaining that they can't find anybody, that they're going to die alone, blah, 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 all these reasons. But, if you were to take an honest look at yourself in the mirror, would you say that you're a desirable person for the opposite gender? Right? Well, would you want to marry yourself, to put it that way, right? Are you a person who has their life in order, or at least has some sort of order in their life? Your finances, your career, your purpose and direction. All these things are important, right? If you go into a relationship hoping that it will make you a complete person, hoping that it's going to solve all your problems, then you're in for a rude awakening. A relationship will never do that for you. I think the perfect, analogy that I've heard when it comes to dating and relationships is that, a partner is just the cherry on top of a cake. If the cherry is taken out of the cake, right, it's still a great cake, right? You have the frosting, you have all these other components of the cake, so it's not going to fall apart. But adding that a little extra touch to the cake always makes life better, right? So get your life in order, have a stable career, make some decent money, focus on the goals that you have for yourself. And then, when you feel like you're ready, like you feel like you're a catch, so to speak, get out into the dating game. It's not going to be that hard for you, right, to find a good partner. Now, finding, obviously, that's another, portion of, this whole thing. It's finding the right person. Where are you looking to find the right person? Is that constantly on your mind? I found that in most cases, life kind of tends to throw things your way when you're not looking for it. If you're in a desperate state of mind and you're constantly looking for a partner, you're going to give off that energy. So again, it all just comes back to just being a well-developed person and, not being desperate for a relationship, being grounded in yourself and your values in your life, having your life be great. And then naturally, if you put yourself in the right places, if you just, are not a hermit and you go outside, naturally opportunities will arise, right? So at the end of the day, this topic is, not one size fits all. It all depends on what you're looking for. But I personally would encourage you to wait for the right person, right? And a lot of people will have you believe that, love is dead, that, true relationships don't exist. But those people are probably not getting out of their house too much, because I do see it from time to time. It's very rare, I will agree, but it does still exist. I've seen great relationships. I've seen people in healthy relationships. I've seen people who have been together for a long time, who have multiple children, and who live a very stable life together, right? So again, get out into the world and, don't consume too much media and have it make you believe that, that relationships are dead. So I'll just leave you with this. I'll just give you my take on it. Again, I would say that it's best to just wait until you're ready, right? With the intention to actually find someone to settle down with. Like I said, I personally would like to go down that route of getting married and having kids, but, I think that's the whole purpose of trying to date somebody, right? To find a partner that you want to get married to and, potentially build a life with. So, if you're young listening to this, if you're old, I guess this advice applies the same. Develop yourself, develop your life. And once you're ready, get out. The opportunities will present themselves if you put yourself out there and you have a life that you truly enjoy. Somebody will come into that world. I would discourage you from just dating casually or just getting into relationships for the wrong reasons. And I'm sure you know what I mean. This whole hookup culture that is prevalent in, quote unquote, modern society is completely just soulless. It's satanic, honestly, and it's destructive. It leaves people with trauma. It leaves people with scars. I've seen it firsthand, people getting into relationships. They can't mend the wounds that, are a result afterwards when they break up with that person. And they just jump from relationship to relationship to relationship. And they keep attracting people that are very similar, right? Broken people attract broken people. And, they have all this casual, and they don't know it, but they're completely frying their brain, their ability to pair bond. This is all scientific, right? You can look into it yourself. Their ability to pair bond with people is completely fried. So, they are not able to truly, I guess, get along with or pair up with a partner. They're just constantly seeking for thrill and for, that dopamine rush. Their neurons, their brain activity is completely messed up. And again, they're not able to stay in stable relationships. This is all scientific as well. If you were to look at people who are, involved in that sort of lifestyle and their probability of staying in relationships, or you can look at their divorce rates even, people who've had multiple partners compared to people who have had very low number of partners, right? And it's a world of difference. So stay away from that stuff, wait for the right person. It all just comes back to where you're coming from, where your actions are coming from what place of mind they're coming from, and from what place they're coming from in terms of, your heart, right? Is it wicked or is it coming from a good place? So just wait until marriage. That would be my advice to you. Look into what Christians say about marriage, not what the world says, right? Because again, monogamous relationships, again, they tend to last longer and they tend to be more fruitful from what I've personally seen. So I would encourage you to, adopt Christian, just a Christian attitude or Christian beliefs towards this, and just a Christian lifestyle in general, right? Because it truly is something that you can see with your own eyes and how different it is from what the world is trying to teach you, right? So if you made it this far, hopefully something that I mentioned is of use to you. I hope something is of value to you. Look into the teachings of Jesus Christ and don't just judge a book by its cover, right? You'll see that the teachings of Jesus, that Christianity is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful relationship with God, and it's a truly life-changing thing. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm sure you'll find something of value here. I just try to talk about topics that fascinate me, whether it be a movie, a television show, anything that fascinates me in general, and just talk about it, and hopefully it provides value to you. Thank you to all the subscribers and viewers of this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.